Hey everyone, we're going to check out places like the US, Taiwan, Iceland, Canada, Mexico, Puerto Rico, South America, Africa, Europe, and the Philippines, New Zealand, and more. We are going to do a sweep around the world and see what major events have taken place with earthquakes and volcanoes. Some crazy things are happening. We're going to check it out. Let's do this. Everybody, just want to say how I hope everyone's doing fine. We did the US and Mexico, Central America rather, and then we did South America, Alaska, Hawaii, and also Canada in the previous video. This video we're going to take care of everything that's happening from the mid-Atlantic ridge, where you see an earthquake here. There's a 5.6 about 18 hours ago. We're going to go through Africa. We're going to go through La Palma. Then we're going to run over to Iraq, Iran, and go to the stands, and then we're going to go on down to Thailand and all the rest of them. We'll even hit China. We'll go ahead and hit that. The video after this will be taking care of Europe, primarily Europe. That way we can see what's going on from Greece, Germany, Liechtenstein, all those areas, Sweden, Norway, Iceland, and the UK. We'll check all those places in the next video. All right, so as we can see, Africa has had some earthquakes, and that's not something that's normal. They had a unconfirmed earthquake 3.8 yesterday, and they also had a 3 that was about 2 days ago, and that was offshore. It looked like there's more than one in Pretoria. They're actually stacked in Africa. 3.15 days ago, there was a 3.7 4 days ago, and also a 3.15 days ago. I just want to make sure we go through all of those. They deserve to get their props. Also offshore in the islands, they also have 2 volcanoes that are actually under unrest, and also one in the back there that's okay, nothing's going on. And also we had a 4.1 that was in the Congo region. Now, I'm very concerned about the earthquakes that have happened in this area here. If you look at one of our videos, or one of our previous videos stated that from the Gulf of Aden all the way through down through to, I say probably just south of Tanzania, that this particular continent is actually cracking. So if you're in Africa and you're unaware of it, please check our videos. The name of the video is Africa Splitting, and a lot of you may already know what's going on out there in Africa. Some of you may not, it just depends. There's also a volcano that's erupting here and here, so that's up near just east of Ethiopia. And we also keep going up, and we can actually see, oh boy, look like the Azores is firing off over there. You can actually see that it's not the Strait of Gibraltar, it's actually the Alboran Sea, and also it's near Al Hoceima over here in Morocco. These earthquakes are starting back up again. 4 hours ago there was a 2.1. Look like they're all 2s, just glancing at them, and maybe like 1 or 2 3s that's in this area. So that's a hot spot. There's a lot of fractured zones in that particular area, and just hope that it doesn't generate anything over there. Now let's go ahead and keep going. We're gonna go rise up a little bit, and we'll check out Greece and them in the next video. Nothing's going on here in Saudi Arabia. In Iran, we can see that there's definitely earthquakes. A 3.9 happened about 22 hours ago, and looked like here's another one 19 hours ago, 3.2. The stands are definitely getting hit hard. This is one of those areas that seem like it gets a great deal of earthquakes. They have some in Afghanistan. It's in the 4s. It look like the 4s here, also in Afghanistan. And then in Pakistan, they have one, well, it's 56 kilometers north of Bal district, Pakistan. Now in Tajikistan, there's 3.2, and you can see, you can see that there's quite a few earthquakes in this area. Most of these happened earlier in the week, but just want to let you know, I'm not going to go through all of them, but it goes up pretty far. So that is an area. Some of these earthquakes are actually in China. This is also part of China. There's a border there that normally gets the earthquakes in that particular area. So just want to let you know there's a lot of earthquakes going on. It's getting swarmed in the stands. Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan. I got to make sure I say them right. And right on in certain parts of Afghanistan, they are definitely getting it. Now Iran has actually had some earthquakes. Just want to make sure I don't miss them. 2.9, and so they're definitely getting earthquakes as well. Now India has definitely received some earthquakes. Also near Nepal as well, 4.5. Okay, in India, looked like they had some responses to this. It was 4 days ago at 3.6. It looked like they had 144 users actually state that they felt that. And then near Mumbai, where there's a 3.5. And here we go. Most of these are confirmed earthquakes for a change. A lot of times they will get unconfirmed earthquakes. Look like I just saw one. Was it this one? Yeah, they did have an unconfirmed. It was a 2.6 about 7 days ago. It looked like it's more than one, but yeah, it is. There's other earthquakes that happen in that same vicinity. They're just stacked on top of each other. So that's about it. Nothing happened in Sri Lanka. And look like there's some over here in this part of India. There's a 4.0 and there's a 3.0 unconfirmed. There we go. Like I said, they get a lot of unconfirmed earthquakes, and what we'll do is we'll also post the unconfirmed earthquake video. We go into detail about a particular area, and there's a certain trends, and we identify that inside the video, so you may want to see that. In Thailand, they actually had a 2.9. It looked like they have a cluster of earthquakes that are right on top of each other in that particular area. Looked like people responded to the 4.2 that happened about 12 hours ago. It was 201 people stated that they felt that particular earthquake, and doesn't look like anything happened in Cambodia. Let's go ahead and go down in Indonesia area. The Andaman Sea look like they are having earthquakes, and they also have a volcano that's under warning for eruption. As you can see, there's a lot more volcanoes that are becoming active in Indonesia. All these clusters of earthquakes are all around the volcanoes. There's a one actual volcano here that's under unrest. It's kind of hard to get to. I won't be able to click through all of them, but this one here is actually under warning. So hard to get them. Here we go. That's under warning for eruption. This one is erupting. This one is erupting. Under warning, unrest rather. And this one here is actually erupting. So they have quite a bit going on. In Sulawesi, they have a great deal of earthquakes in that particular area right now. There's actually a swarm in this area here, earthquake swarm, because they're all stacked on top of each other. Look like in the Banda Sea, they did have a 5.0 about 2 days ago, and they also had a 5.1 about 3 days ago. And also you see another large one over here. There's a 2.9 that just got in the way, but there's a larger earthquake right here. It was a 5.0 about 3 days ago, so it's really off and kicking. What we're going to do is go down to Papua New Guinea, and then we're going to go down to New Zealand, and we're going to check Australia. They have had a huge earthquake out here. It was a 6.4 about 7 days ago. Solomon Islands have earthquakes, have a volcano that's actually under unrest. One is under warning. Vanuatu actually has an earthquake that's under unrest, under warning, and one erupting. Fiji also has one that, well, Tonga actually has one that's erupting and also one under unrest. Look like they had some pretty large earthquakes out here. 5.2s, here's another 5 here. And We also have some fives here. 28 minutes ago, there was a 5.2 in a New Zealand offshore. Now let's talk about New Zealand. We always put a special emphasis on this particular area because they have a volcano that we're really heavily watching, and I guess you can see why. Everything's pretty much covered with earthquakes over this past week. Looks like they got slammed. There was actually an earthquake, I can still see it on top of one of the, well, right by one of the volcanoes in Auckland. But look at the North Island. The North Island has been getting slammed and swarmed with earthquakes for several weeks now, and it looked like it's starting to intensify. Now, Lake Taupo has the Taupo Volcano, and this is one that we're really watching because this area has been rising and lifting, and that's something that quite a few geologists are keeping an eye on. Like I said, we're going to have to keep an eye on New Zealand with all these earthquakes that are happening. It's really, really a lot. Also in this area here has been known to have a great deal of earthquakes. And just so you know, this side, you see the fault, and you also see the line here. This is one of the boundaries where it's subducting. One of the plates is going under another plate, and that's considered the convergent line, convergent boundary. This side here is a Pacific plate. On the other side, the other half of this island here, and the rest in this area here is the Indo-Australian plate. So this particular island is on two tectonic plates, two separate plates. This is called the Alpine Fault, and that's why you see a lot of earthquakes that are normally right along that. So far, look like the southern island is actually starting to stop having as many earthquakes, but when it comes up here on the North Island, it seems like they're having a lot more. So we'll definitely have to keep an eye on New Zealand. Now, as we go up, we already talked about Tonga. Samoa Islands, they look like they're doing okay. Nothing's erupting in that particular area. And we'll just keep going up to the Philippines. Philippines, they are also one of those areas that's getting a great deal of earthquakes. We see two volcanoes erupting here, one under unrest, and look at all of that. They still have one that's under unrest in this particular area and one up here at the top. Now, a lot of their earthquakes are offshore, but there are several earthquakes that are right in the vicinity of the volcanoes. And we'll have to keep an eye on the Philippines to make sure that they don't start having more volcanoes erupting. Two under unrest. We have one also here, Manila, that is actually under warning to erupt. Luzon is one area that had a great deal of earthquakes several months back, and they still are receiving earthquakes. And we'll keep going up, and this area here look like it's really getting slammed too as well. Now we're going to keep going up, and we're going to go up now to Taiwan. Taiwan has calmed down. They did have one earthquake. It was a 4.9 about 7 hours ago, and we can see that there's nothing going on with their volcanoes, thank goodness. And we'll continue up, and this is East China Sea, and part of this is Japan. We see that there's two volcanoes that are actually erupting and one that is under warning to erupt. A great deal of earthquakes are surrounding the volcanoes, so we'll definitely have to keep an eye on that. Also see that there's a 3.5 there 2 days ago. They have a lot of earthquakes that are offshore. Majority of them are offshore. But once again, there are some that are located in close proximity of the volcanoes. Now we keep going up, and we see here in this particular area that they've had recent earthquakes in this area here and also in this area here. And most of them look like they're 3s and 4s. So they're the type of earthquakes that the people can definitely feel. Let's rise up a little bit. We see here, this is in the Russian area, 4.8 about 7 hours ago. It looks like some of the volcanoes are even more active. We have two that are erupting and two under warning to erupt. So that is our take right now for all this particular area. We'll do individual videos to give stats on some of these areas because it looked like it would probably be a good idea to actually spend some time on some of the areas here. Just want to let you know also there was five magnitude earthquakes that was on the Indian Ridge. And we'll do Europe next, and we'll talk about the earthquakes that are on the ridge up in the northern part of the mid-Atlantic that's over by Iceland. Everybody like, share, and subscribe, and please leave your comments down below. If you want a certain area covered, just let me know and I'll take care of it for you. But like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Ciao.